What's going on, everybody? This is JVB, and thank you for viewing my video. So, there's been a lot of talk about the Leica Q2, which I have right here, and I had purchased it because I sold my GFX system. Now, I have a brain injury, and it caused a lot of side effects. One being fatigue, mental fatigue, uh, sometimes hand tremor, mainly on my right hand, and balance. I have an issue with balance. So, holding a GFX system, which by the way is beautiful, I had a lot of issues. I even switched from the GFX 50R to the GFX 50S, which came with image stabilization. And even with that, because the lenses were so big, it was just cumbersome and it affected my ability to take photos. As simple as that. So I wanted to go with a smaller form factor, and I wanted something with similar megapixels. This is a 47 megapixel camera. The GFX has a 50 megapixel system. Now, of course, we're talking about different sensor sizes. So the GFX has a bigger sensor, yada, yada, yada. So I did a lot of research, and a friend of mine had a Q2 and kept just bragging about it. Not in a bad way, but he said he absolutely loved it. He sold it for GFX and then sold the GFX to fund for another Q2. So go figure. So I went with the Q2, and we're talking about a $5,700 camera, which is crazy because at the time that it was first released, it was $5,000. And the camera actually went up in price. Crazy. Demand hasn't been that high. Well, not demand, inventory. So let me correct that. Inventory hasn't been that high. So when you're talking about the build quality of Leica, the color science that everybody talks about, which I can attest to and verify, and you talk about this 20 millimeter lens, this Summilux lens. I mean, it's a 1.7 aperture, and it's a beautiful lens. I mean, this lens is sharp. It renders colors beautifully. Autofocus is not that slow. Some people say it's slow. It's fine for me for what I want to do. And then it has a true manual focus mechanism. It is not focused by wire. So if I want to put this lens into manual focus, it is mechanically, and it's mechanically a real manual focus lens. So I could use all of my numbers up here to do zone focusing. And I don't need to worry about slow autofocus. Now, I'm making it sound easy, but it's not. So anyway, I've seen a lot of people talk about the Leica Q2 lately on YouTube. It's quite crazy. It's become a fad. It's very similar to the Fuji X100V, which is another what they call point and shoot. To me, a point and shoot is really this right here, a cell phone camera. By the way, let me show you my home screen. I took that photo with this Leica Q2, and I use it as my home screen. So for me, in my opinion, a real point and shoot is a cell phone. A digital camera, even a film camera. So I have this Canon A1. This is a dedicated film camera. I can make this a point and shoot by putting aperture priority, putting shutter speed on automatic, and then putting, I believe there's an auto mode for ISO. So ISO. So I can make it a point and shoot. I can make this Leica Q2 upon its shoot if I put everything on automatic. So I say it's a fixed lens camera because that's what it is. It is a fixed lens camera. You cannot change the lens. And the lens it's amazing. Once again, it's the highlight of the Leica Q2. Here I have a Fuji X-T1 that I bought used, and I got the 56 millimeter f1.2 that I also bought used. Combined, I spent about $800 on this X-T1 that also came with the extra battery pack. And it is a 17 megapixel or 16 megapixel sensor. In comparison to newer XT cameras, it's slow. The operating system's slower, autofocus is slower, all of that stuff. But that doesn't matter because it depends what kind of photographer you are. Now, the cost of this Leica Q2 is astronomically more than what I spent on my X-T1. I bought the X-T1 because I love Fuji cameras. And let me fix my camera here. I love Fuji cameras. I even support Fuji so much I bought shares of Fuji stock. I am a really big fan of Fuji. If you followed me throughout the years, you know that I've purchased many Fuji cameras. So I wanted that option, and the 56 1.2 is a lens that I've always wanted to own. So that is my quote-unquote portrait camera. Whereas the Leica Q2 is for everything else because you have 28 millimeter of focal length or field of view, and you can capture all types of environments, architecture, structures, landscapes. You could do many different things with this Leica Q2. It's an amazing camera, but what people won't tell you on YouTube, and I've been watching these reviews, is that they make the Leica Q2 seem as if anyone can go to a Target and purchase the Leica Q2. The Leica Q2 is too expensive to be sold anywhere but either a Leica store, a B&H, an Adorama, or a dedicated camera store. And there needs to be a demand for it. These cameras are very expensive. And not only that, not only will these reviewers not tell you how expensive it is, they refuse to tell you how much the accessories cost. I've seen videos where people are just bragging, because to me, that's what it comes down to. People are bragging about the accessories they purchased. I saw one gentleman, he's doing an unboxing of all of the accessories. And I'm talking about the leather protective case, the dedicated, first party thumb support. Here I have a third party, which cost about $30+, let's say $40. And then he had a fancy strap for his camera. And then he had the hand grip. So just to give you an idea, this gentleman was showcasing the camera, which cost $5,700 right now. He was showing off that he had 3 accessories for his brand new Leica Q2. One was this custom-made, not custom-made, but handmade leather protective case by Leica. The quality is insane. The build quality is insane, and the leather is, it seems like high-grade leather. I purchased it from an Adorama eBay page, secondhand. It was an open box. It retails, this right here, retails for $220 brand new. It's an official Leica leather protective case. $222. I was able to pick it up for about 150. So just a quick tip. If you're looking for used camera gear, go to eBay, look up Adorama, look up B&H. Just a quick tip. So this, once again, this thumb support, because I have big hands. So I wanted the protective case and the thumb grip to give me a little bit of grip to hold on to, because it's a small camera for me. And then I went ahead and I purchased this Leica camera strap. Now, when you buy a Leica Q2, you do get a leather camera strap, which is great because most camera manufacturers are giving you this very ugly looking camera strap. So you get a very nice leather camera strap if you purchase a Leica camera. Depending on which Leica you buy, you'll get a better looking camera strap. So for the Leica Q2, you get a camera strap that's a little wider than this one right here, but it doesn't come with this strap that goes around your neck. And the leather is really soft and not cheap at all. This, I believe, was about $100, give and take. So we're talking about, let's say 40, let's say $100. And from what I remember, this leather half case by Leica was about $150. That's a lot of money, folks. Nearly $300 worth of accessories. Had I bought this brand new, that's $220, then you're talking about $150 for the official thumb grip, and then this leather camera strap. For that price, I could buy a brand new camera from a different brand. So a lot of these reviews don't tell you that. They don't tell you that if you want to buy accessories for your Leica Q2, that you are paying a premium price. For God's sakes, let's say you need an extra battery. Let me pop the battery out here. Now, the battery life on the Leica Q2 is fantastic because of this battery. This battery also goes on one of Leica's bigger cameras, the SL. So you're getting a lot of battery time. But let's say, just like every battery, it doesn't hold a charge a few years down the line, and you want to purchase a brand new battery, you're looking at about $280 for a battery. I've seen people on video say that they have 3 extra batteries, and they say it so nonchalantly. They say, "Oh, get extra batteries." They don't tell you that. They forget to tell you the price of those batteries. And so, yeah, I'm making a somewhat unorthodox video talking about the negatives of owning a Leica Q2 and the expenses that come with it. For example, not only do you get this magnificent lens, the Summilux lens, which, by the way, if you went ahead and purchased the 28mm f1.4 Summilux lens, we're talking about $8,000. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go on my phone and I want to double check that price because I don't want to give you false information. So look, $7,800 if you want to purchase a 28mm f1.4. Now this is a 1.7, so you would have to assume that instead of paying $7,800 for a 1.7, this lens would come out to about, let's say, $7,000, maybe $6,500, which is insane when you consider that one lens is over $6,000. And then the body, because overall, at one point you could buy this for $5,000 plus tax. So you're technically getting a steal when you think about the lens and the cost of the lens if it were to be sold outside of this Leica Q2 body. And then you get this beautiful lens hood that you screw on, and it's designed by Leica, so it is designed so that this dot is perfectly centered when it's tight. And then you get this awesome looking Leica uh, lens cap. Now there's issues with this lens cap. The inside tends to deteriorate and it starts sliding out. So what I did was I found some material that has adhesive in the end, and I was able to just put into place, and it has a very soft material on the outside, similar to what comes inside of this case. I mean, this cap. And now I have a very tight fit. Sometimes a little too tight, and I got to struggle with it. But as you can see, it doesn't come off. Whereas before, it didn't want to stay on at all. So yeah, I wanted to just get it out there that yes, the Leica Q2, it is extremely popular right now. A lot of YouTube content creators who claim to be photographers are out here buying Leica Q2s and acting as if it's just a regular ordinary camera that you could purchase at Target. It is not. This is as premium as a camera as it gets. Of course, there's the M series and the SL series. And then you have cameras like Phase 1 and Hasselblad, something like that. So on and so on. You have some other, dedicated medium format camera manufacturers that cost way more than a Leica Q2. But when it comes to a Leica camera, you're getting, as soon as you pick up this Q2, it's small, but there is some nice weight to it. You can genuinely hurt somebody if you swung this camera at somebody. It is built like a little tank. And the M series, if you buy a film M series or M6, let's say, a Leica M6, you could pass that down to generation to generation. This Canon camera, this film camera that I have, is from the 70s. And somebody gave it to me. It's from the 70s and it still works. So there's a possibility that I can hand this down to my son and then my son can hand it down to his kids. But it is an electronic mirrorless camera. And because of the internals being electronic, there's a chance that some of its circuitry could rot. Something could happen. And once that happens, either you pay to get it repaired or you get rid of it and go with something else. Me, I definitely wouldn't have the money to just throw it away and get another one. That's, I had to sacrifice some incredible gear and I had to have an injury that changed the way I do my photography. Things had to change drastically for me to pick up a Q2. I've always wanted a Leica, but I knew financially it wasn't something that I can do. I could have if I wanted to. If I really wanted to, I could have purchased Leicas before. But I knew that my GFX system, my Fuji systems, because at one point I had a bunch of Fuji cameras, I knew that's all I needed. So at the end of the day, I guess what I'm trying to say is don't let people persuade you on YouTube to think that you need this Leica Q2. It is an incredible camera. This lens is amazing. The build quality is incredible. There is so much to love about this camera. And most importantly, what comes out the camera. When it comes to photos, it is incredible. I am very happy with this Leica Q2. But there are expenses that people will not tell you about. Just like nowadays in a lot of YouTube videos, they leave out the realistic portion of owning something or doing something. It doesn't matter if it's a technical review for a piece of tech, like for example, an iPhone. They won't tell you the expenses of owning an iPhone. Or if you're doing video games, they won't tell you the expenses of owning a video game console, right? You need internet, you need a nice TV that has a certain input and output, all of that stuff, right? They tend to leave all those details out. I used to be in sales. For 20 years, I've been an elevator technician, but there were times because of 9/11, I had to go into sales for a while. And the one thing I learned, that a smart consumer is going to know more about the product than you. And you as a salesman, if you are not being honest and giving all of the details, the consumer is going to finally make a decision before you even finish your sales pitch, and they're going to move on. People don't like to be treated like idiots. And that's what I feel is going on nowadays in YouTube. People will glorify something and they refuse to give you all of the information. And as a content creator, we are responsible for providing honest opinions, providing all of the information for a consumer to purchase something. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm making this video. Would I recommend a Leica Q2 to someone who can afford the camera and afford the cost of owning a camera like a Leica Q2? Of course, definitely. But I would also recommend that you purchase an XT2 if you could find one well, not brand new, but if you could find a Fuji XT1, I might have said XT2, but if you could find a XT1 in good condition, I would recommend that. You can find some for about $300 in great condition, and you will get some beautiful photos out of that. So that's one recommendation that I would throw out there. So there's plenty of options out there if you want to get into photography. So you guys let me know, do you own a Leica Q2? Are you interested in owning a Leica Q2? And if this video helped you make a decision if you were looking for one at all. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm JVB. I thank you for watching my videos. You guys take care.